even though this is a PvZ, and we just casted one, we just casted a PvZ involving one of these players, this series should be a very different series. Again, MaxPax thrives against a player like Solar, against a player that's more passive and more willing to have a standard early to mid game. Much more standard game. This is going to be quite different. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn. We have our Danish Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent going for a 15-15. Very interesting. We have our blue Zerg player representing his new team. I believe currently been on this team for like 48 hours, maybe just over a day, representing Talon Esports. It is Dark. Really great to see Talon Esports reinvesting into StarCraft once again. As a reminder, for those who don't know, Dark did leave CranKy Gaming. His military service is on the horizon, and he even said himself that this new team acquisition is a temporary one. It does seem like Talon Esports may have just signed Dark for IM Katowice. I'm not too sure if they have him signed for anything past IM Katowice. So it may just be like a one event sort of thing. We'll see. We'll see. Regardless, really cool to see Talon Esports diving into StarCraft once again after such a long hiatus. Much love. Much love. Meanwhile, we are just going to be getting into a 15-15 opener, 15 hatchery into a 15 spawning pool. A very safe opener here out of Dark. Gases are going to be delayed as a result, but MaxPax should be feeling pretty comfortable back at home. For those that are curious, the opener of Dark basically means that you can get your base up and running on location on time without being disrupted. The downside is that it does mean you can't be as aggressive as you would like to be. Link speed is delayed, Roach production can be delayed as well. I'm curious if we even decide to skip Link speed to go into a faster Roach Warren, which is viable here on Oceanborn. Rush distance by ground on Oceanborn is quite short, and we have seen a lot of Roach-based all-ins on this map. I was bringing this up earlier with Solar. Dark is more likely to embrace the Roach aggression. Far more likely. But now we have our tag of choice for our Protoss. It is going to be a Stargate opener from MaxPax. Stargate into, I imagine, Oracles, as it is rallied across the map, so nothing too crazy so far, other than the fact that, of course, Dark went for a bit of a different opener, something safer, and MaxPax is opening up standard. Here we go. Link's going to be moving on out, spreading in between the bases. Again, this is a rematch. MaxPax looking for his revenge here from Masters Coliseum. See if he can get it. Sorry, I'm just double checking, because I remember they did face off at least in the group stage. And yeah, so if you weren't here for it, I recommend checking out the VODs on our channel, as we casted all of Masters Coliseum throughout the month of January. And they faced off in the playoff brackets, and Dark was the player to eliminate MaxPax. Fun fact, Dark 4-0'd MaxPax. This was a week ago, if that. This was on the 24th of January, not that long ago whatsoever, and Dark looked dominant in his performance. But it's been a week. It has been a week since that series, and MaxPax, he can look to get his revenge here. We'll see if he can. We'll see if he can redeem himself from that performance in Masters Coliseum. As for now, it's going to be very fast third base getting up and running, gateway behind it, Oracles are moving out, and again, we're just trying to keep Dark honest. But because the gases were so late, Link speed is very late as well. Very late Link speed here out of Dark because of his opener, which is why MaxPax is safe, which is why he's expanding even without adepts, which is typically considered to be very greedy, and it is. So I love that MaxPax has adjusted to his opponent, recognizing what Dark can do, what he can't do, and taking advantage of it. So really fast third with minimal adepts to support, minimal units to support, because we know that there is nothing to threaten MaxPax. Meanwhile, across the map, Oracle's going to be harassing. We dip in towards the main, towards the natural. Big scout as well. MaxPax does confirm the lair timing. Speaking of, Roach Warren is on the way. This should be for Roach speed. Now, the next big question, how hard are we going to drone? As for now, we're saturating that third base, getting up to full 3 base saturation. Oracle try to dip in. They pick up a couple of tumors. Ooh, as I say that, we do come in from behind. 3 more drones go down. We got 3, we got 4, we got 5. 5 workers in total, and the Oracles, they all make it out alive. Really good damage done here so far by MaxPax. We're taking some extra hits, but he will escape. Behind this setup, they shade in towards that natural. They clean up most of these lings. Good trades here from MaxPax as he does focus out more of these drones, and this is becoming too much. 8 workers go to 9. 9 drones fall. Most of the lings, the Oracles are still alive. Sure, we lost the Adepts. We threw them away, but the Adepts, they don't matter. Not anymore. And now Dark has to make a decision. Do we try to macro out of this, or do we pull the trigger here and now? And we can't pull the trigger. +1, range is on the way. Roach speed's still on the way. Like, these upgrades, they're still in production. We can't hit without them. So Dark, he's stuck resaturating. Meanwhile, MaxPax, he's fully saturated on 3 bases. He's happily mining. We're building up towards +1 Blink Stalkers, towards Robo production. Hydra on the way. Interesting. I like this. So Dark, he's working towards Roach Hydra. 4th base is being taken. And I imagine this is to rush into Lurker Tech. Yep, there it is. Infestation Bit. This is for Hive Tech, for Lurker upgrades. Dark rushing towards Hydra, Lurker, Viper. Can he get there, though? That's the thing. Can he get there after losing so many drones? Or will MaxPax stop him? Because MaxPax is the first to be active. Now, this is a little bit risky. He's moving out without Blink. Blink is not done here for MaxPax, but he does have Oracles to support him. So he's feeling safe enough. He does move out. We'll see if he can get away with this. We'll see if he can get punished. So here we go. Stasis traps are being thrown down. A big revelation on these tumors, as MaxPax can work through them. Ooh, first stasis does get baited by the lings. So a good start for Dark. As more Stalkers going to be reinforcing. Not a lot of Roaches, to be honest. Not a lot of Roaches. It means the Hydra's a little bit more exposed, but in general, we're going to be able to force this back. Good concave here at a MaxPax, but he cannot break through. Ooh, as we bait out another stasis. Dark, yeah, forcing this back. Is bleeding out some Roaches. Looking at the units lost tab here. Trading 1 for 1 Roaches for Stalkers. Hydra's going down. These Stalkers are so low. Oh my god. We have more reinforcements coming in. MaxPax, he's trying to force the issue, but he's being punished for it. A lot of Stalkers go down. Not the best trades from MaxPax. Looking at the resources lost, he lost 10 Stalkers for 7 Roaches and 5 Hydras. Dark holds, gets his 4th base up and running. MaxPax getting his own 4th as well. And he's going into double Disruptor production, not double Colossus. Does make sense. Disruptors, they do well against any units, regardless of light or armored. Or even neutral. So can do well against Roach Hydra. We can see, though, it's going to be Ling Hydra. So, I mean, Colossi can be a good transition here as well for our Protoss player. Vipers are on the way. Do we have a Lurker Den? We do not. Not yet. So it's going to be Ling, Hydra, Viper for the time being. A very mobile army. A lot of DPS, but it's a glass cannon. Very squishy. Very squishy composition. As MaxPax, he wants to push in. Does want to push in. Does have a lot of disruptors available. There we go. Dark collapsing this army from behind. Nova's going to be zoning back the Hydras. Grazing some of them as well. Oh. Decent connections overall. As we do pick off a couple of Hydras here and there with those Novas. No big connections. At the same time, Zealot run by on the right-hand side. We had some Oracle harass towards the left. Zelts are being cleaned up. We did kill a couple of drones, but Dark is maxed. Now, what I'm concerned about, I assume that lurkers will be on the horizon. No lurker tech. The longer this goes on without lurkers, the more Dark is going to be outscaled. The disruptor count's getting higher and higher. We're still making 2 more disruptors at a time. 2 more disruptors on the way here. We catch out some of these roaches. Roaches on their own, they're going to struggle. They will be struggling. Ooh, decent connections here with the Novas. We catch some of the Hydras. Dark getting caught out. Yeah, he does get caught out here. His army in pieces. Big Nova does connect here on the left-hand side. The Vipers are exposed. We snipe 1. We get 2. 2 Vipers go down. A much better engage out of Dark coming in from the right-hand side. A big flank with those Hydras. But MaxPax, he still did so much damage there. He got 2 Vipers full of energy. There's 1 Viper left. Meanwhile, the Hydra army keeps on pushing. That Viper is still very low from earlier. MaxPax barely holding on. At the same time, Zealot Runby comes in, picks up a couple of drones, forces back the army, and this gives MaxPax more time to rebuild. Now, the reason why lurkers are so important is because lurkers and Vipers work so well in tandem, where you have the lurkers to zone away the stalkers so they cannot freely blink under and dive on top of Vipers. They give you a bit of a safety net. The lurkers, I mean. And that's a net that Dark just doesn't have. Once again, he comes in for a surround. Gets zoned away. Doesn't quite collapse on the army. There it is. Finally, the lurker den is in production, but this is a late den. Very late here out of Dark. Here we go. MaxPax is going to keep on pushing, cleaning up more of this creep. Nova goes off. Not quite connecting. Just zoning back the army. So yoinking a couple of... we yoinked the Stalker. A bit of a misclick there out of Dark. Bit of a misclick. Decent amount of Hydras. Oh my god! As we finally get a juicy connection on the Hydra's big shot there from MaxPax. He can keep up the momentum. He can keep on pushing. Can keep on pushing behind this 5th base being taken. We're reinforcing so many disruptors. How many do we have? 8. 8 disruptors, soon to be 9. I'll be honest, I still would have liked Colossus more. I think Colossus would have been so much more impactful here. Another Viper goes down, and another! We reset the Viper count. The Lurker's at too little too late. Dark, he's already lost so much, and you can see the disparity in army supplies here as more Novas connect. MaxPax is maxed out. Dark, he's down 50 supply. Oh no. The face. Feels bad, man. As Dark, yeah, he's just being picked away at. Not happy about the situation. Not happy about losing so much. 4 more Vipers are in production. Zealot Rummies, they just don't stop. Zelts in the natural in the 3rd base, and we bypass the Lurkers. They're out of position. We take down the Queen. Some Hydras. Big shots here on the Lurkers. And MaxPax, oh my god. His balls. He has so many. They're big, they're huge. Dark cannot handle them. GG gets called, and MaxPax takes a 1-0 lead. GG. Already able to outperform what he was trying to bring to the table during Massive Coliseum. But this was a very interesting game as well. Again, I do think that it did take, that maybe Dark was overconfident. I mean, that's without saying. That's part of his persona. That's what he's about. But I do think that that did hurt him here. I do think that he stuck to Ling Hydra a little bit too long. There was that moment, I didn't like that he was reinforcing with roaches for quite some time as well. And his army was struggling here against the robo backbone of MaxPax's army. Whether it was Colossus or Storm or Disruptors, I mean, all roads lead to Rome here, and all those tech structures typically would force out something more robust out of Dark. And it did feel a little bit too greedy, a little bit too ambitious. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. A little bit too ambitious for Dark to rely on Ling Hydra Viper without lurkers for so long. By the time he was getting into lurker production, we already had almost 10 disruptors on the field, and yeah, we could just have our way with Dark before he could hit critical mass of lurker. Like, we needed more time to build up more lurkers, and MaxPax refused to give it to him. GG, well played. A solid game there at a MaxPax. And now we're getting into game número 2. Let's go. Let us go. Catching up with the chat. We're diving into game number 2 here, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Hard Lead, we have our red Zerg player representing Storm Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player representing his new team, Talon Esports. It is Dark. Here we go. There's one good French player. There's a lot of really good French players. When I think of French players, I think of DNS. I think of Shutdown. Those are the two that come to mind. Clem is also French. Who else? Aragfire. There's quite a lot. I guess if you don't really watch a lot of European StarCraft, if you don't watch especially a lot of like WTL or a lot of these online events, then maybe you wouldn't be familiar with DNS and Shutdown. But they're both really good, they're really good European Protosses and solid players in their own right. I do understand the nostalgia though. I think someone was saying how strong the scene used to be. How strong the French scene used to be, and I get brought back to late Heart of the Swarm, right? Late Heart of the Swarm. That was the era of, it was Firecake, Lil Bao, and Marine Lord, as well as I guess Stefano kind of lurking around there. He was semi-active at the time as well. But yeah, like there used to be some very strong French presence. Not just that, but also O Gaming at the time was like a big part of that scene. Help prop it up, you know, nation wars, like there was a lot happening. Unfortunately, a lot of those players have retired, right? Like Marine Lord, Firecake, and Lil Bao, they've all retired. They've all stepped away, or Lil Bow Wow, even. They've all since retired, and there are still players that have taken their place. And I mean, Clem is like the best Terran, one of the best Terrans in the world, the best Terran in Europe, and they still have a strong presence, but I understand not as much as they used to. And a big reason for that as well, I'm sure, is also what happened with O Gaming, right? Like a big shout out to Comeback TV, who have risen in the ashes of O Gaming. But that's like the equivalent of the German scene losing Take TV, for example. Like that'd be devastating. And I'm sure that did negatively impact the community in France as well as the player base. So yeah, there's a lot of history there, But regardless, you know, we're delving into game number 2 here, and so far MaxPax already performing better than what he brought to the table in Masters Coliseum. Can we keep it up? Can we just clean up this series, or will we have an ace match? Personally, I would love an ace match. I would love for this to go all the way to game 3, but it's not on me, it's on the players. Here we go. Oh yeah, I see in the chat. Yeah. I was referring to, I was comparing O Gaming to Take TV when it came to the French community. Here we go. As the Overlord is going to be shut down, MaxPax taking his 3rd base. And getting into his opener, so far nothing too crazy. Do have our Oracle production well underway, soon to be harassing. Remember, game 1, against Solo we killed 3 drones Last game we killed 4 workers with the Oracle Harass. We'll see if we can get a little bit more done here as we do dip in between the bases and threaten that natural. I mean, to be fair, we killed even more drones, if you remember, with the Adept Harass. It was insane. It was crazy how good of a start MaxPax had as well, right? With his Oracle Harass, with his Adept Harass. Killed quite a lot of workers. We'll see if he can replicate that success. I thought DNS didn't play much anymore. No, he's been very active. Fun fact, a couple of days ago, he joined Berserker. He left the Platinum Heroes and he joined Berserker Esports. But yeah, DNS has been very active this past year of StarCraft. I will say, as we get a couple of drone kills, DNS was very inactive in 2022. 2022, I want to say 2021 as well. But specifically 2023, last year, DNS was very active, which was really cool to see. It was really cool to see his comeback, basically, because I thought he'd retired. I'll be honest, I thought DNS retired, but last year he proved everyone wrong, and yeah, DNS is looking damn good. So really cool to see that he recently joined a new team to try to, increase that, as we do have the Adept Harass getting in towards that natural. Oh my god! Drone's getting very low here. Only 2 go down for now, but we can get even more damage done. Adepts a shade into the main base. At the same time, we have Oracles harassing towards the third as well. 8 workers full, 9 drones even. Oh my god! Can we get 10? We can! 10 workers go down to the Adept Harass. This is becoming too much, and this is going to be triggering a big counterattack. Dark has to deny the third base. He has to do some kind of counter damage. If not, he will be strictly behind. What can we get done? Here at the third base, shield batteries on the way. Good SimCity here and good positioning with the Stalkers. Oracles are racing back home. And these Lings, we have 14 more Lings in production. We have a big wave on the right, a big wave towards the left. Again, those 14 Lings just now are amassing. And can we make some magic happen? The pressure, the onus right now is on Dark. Lings, they do threaten the natural. But again, so far, MaxPax is in position. Now, Dark, he is hurting so bad because Dark didn't just lose a bunch of drones. He also didn't make workers. He's committing so hard to this Ling Bane aggression, and here we go. He's going for it. Banelings, they do roll into the mineral line. Good reaction out of MaxPax. He does pull away in time. Lings, they come in from the left-hand side as well. We try to get us around on these Stalkers. But the Lings, the overcharges pop. The Lings, they do no damage whatsoever. They get deflected. And despite the commitment, only 2 probes. Only 2 workers fall. The 4th base survives. The 4th base is still up, soon to be up and running. And Dark, instead of re-droning, he invested so much into this Ling Bane. That's why Dark is so behind in the drone count. He committed so much, and now he's 1, 2, 3 steps behind that of MaxPax. Hive is on the way, though. We did rush into an infestation mate. We're rushing into Hive Tech. Is this... What can we make use of this? That's the better question. Do we rush into Ultras? I mean, I guess that's the answer here. There's no Roach Warren. It has to be Ultras. The problem here is that Ultras are really good if you have map control. They're really good if you have momentum. They're not amazing if you're trying to come back from behind. They're very much so a momentum-based unit, and that's momentum that Dark doesn't have. Meanwhile, Lings, they're going to be harassing. We do have Stalkers pushing in. Big stage trap here on the army. And MaxPax, we can keep pushing from here. He's going to retreat. He's going to respect this position. He's going to respect all these Lings. We do have Colossi amassing back at home. We're making 2 Colossi at a time. I'm really curious what we do invest in with this Hive, but based on what we have, Ultras is the only answer. Otherwise, we would already have a Hydrogen. We would already have a Spire. Here comes MaxPax. Pushing on forward, clearing up a lot of those Lings. The Colossi have arrived. Vipers, they will help. They will help here against these Colossi. The problem is that we need so much time to get into them. Ling's going to be harassing. Once again, swatted away. Once again, MaxPax takes no economic damage. And now we can push in. Now we can push in towards that 4th. And it's going to go down. There's just no stopping it. There's no saving it. The hatchery will fall. That's a lot of... Oh my god. That's how many lings? 112 lings here for Dark. Oh boy. He's got a massive army. A massive ling army, specifically. Unfortunately, it's quite limited. It's restricted, of course, to melee. To melee aggression. We're pushing forward here towards 3 Colossi. Can Dark even deal with this? He's stuck here at 150 supply. Vibes are coming in. Good yoinks. We get one. We get one Colossus. Big stage traps go off. We basically create some force fields, and there's no way to engage. Ling Bane is getting annihilated. 112 Lings cannot touch this. We kill one Colossus. Only one. And behind this, Darky's struggling. He plummets here to 134 supply. Again, these stasis traps were massive. Reducing so much surface area here, keeping the Stalkers alive, saving them from the surround. Speaking of Dark, yeah, this is a Hail Mary play, going for a big run by. It's all we can do. But the wall is a wall at the natural, towards the third base, towards the fourth even. We are getting some damage done here. The Lings, they do bust in. We get 10 and 12 probe kills. That's okay. But Dark, he's still up against the wall. He's still going pure Ling. Again, he just doesn't have any tech, doesn't have the economy, doesn't have the drones to sustain anything else. It's just pure Ling Bane Viper. And a big reason as to why Dark is in this position, as we mentioned before, is 1, because he lost so many drones, and 2, because he took so long to resaturate and to actually make those drones. So Dark has been all in for the past like 5 or so minutes, and it's not working. GG gets called. There's not even a final fight here, as the Lings are deflected, and MaxPax, he gets his revenge. He gets a 2-0. GG, very well played. MaxPax, he does take down Dark 2-0. Again, really good harass, both in game 1 and game 2. I almost want to say that the Adept and Oracle harass of MaxPax carried him through this series. He dealt so much damage to Dark in both those games, crippled the economy, and Dark had different responses, if you remember. Here in game 2, I mean, Dark put himself all in, basically, going pure Ling. When it comes to this Ling army here of Dark, it is ideal if he's able to fight out on the map. But the stasis traps were just so good for MaxPax. Like, Dark could not get any good engagements, could not get any good surrounds. In game 1, we had a similar story where Dark, he took a lot of damage early on, and his response was to rush into Hydras. But he was stuck on Hydra tech for far too long, got outscaled. GG, well played. Really cool, really good to see MaxPax bouncing back. Again, after a rough performance in Master Colosseum, a good performance here against Dark. Now, with that win, MaxPax advances on to the Grand Finals. But we have to determine who plays against MaxPax in those finals. We alluded to it earlier. It is going to be Clem versus Estrella. Let's go.